my darling viewers, it's Jen here at Check Her Joy, and this time I am reviewing I Am Alfonzo Jones. This is a graphic novel written by Tony Medina, and the art is by Jennings and Stacey Robinson. This tries to explain and explore the Black Lives Matter movement and police brutality in the US. So the main character of this book is 15-year-old Alfonzo Jones. He is a student at the Henry Dumas School of Arts in Harlem. So Alfonzo Jones is a musician. He plays the trumpet. He likes jazz music. And he's also been cast as the role of King Hamlet's ghost in Hamlet. Alfonzo Jones is also a bit of a history buff. He specifically likes finding out stories about African Americans in New York City, in and around where he lives. He goes exploring and looking for their statues and taking selfies by them and posting quotes and stuff by them. So Alfonzo Jones also has a job working as a bike messenger where he's trying to save up money to go visit his dad who's in prison. His dad has been locked up for a crime that he didn't commit, and DNA evidence finally, after 15 years, proves that he didn't do it, and he's getting out. So Alfonzo goes to buy his first suit, and he goes with his best friend, Donetta, which he kind of likes more than a friend and wishes was his girlfriend. And while they're shopping for a suit, he gets shot by the cops. There's an off-duty white police officer working security in the department store, and somebody tips him off that there's a black kid running around with a gun, and he sees Alfonzo and just shoots. And Alfonzo doesn't have a gun on him. He's not doing anything threatening. He has a hanger in his hand. Not armed, not dangerous. Didn't even give him warning to react at all, just shoots several times, and Alfonzo dies, and Donetta has to witness it. So Alfonzo finds himself on this train, and he finds out that he is a ghost, and he's also on this train with the ghosts of other victims of police brutality that also haven't found justice yet. And through this, we get to explore the history of police brutality and how poorly Black African Americans are treated in the US and specifically around New York. He meets Eleanor Bumpers, Anthony Baez, and Henry Dumas, amongst a couple of other different stories. And we get to see they each tell their own story about how they died and were victimized. And we also get to see what is happening in the living world through his family and friends, classmates, and the rest of the community, and how they join together and protest. We get to see exactly how important Black Lives Matter, as a movement is, what it's trying to achieve, and the solace it can bring. It gives his mom something to fight for. We also see that he is nowhere near being the only victim of this. He's just the latest victim, and it's not even something we think about Black Lives Matter starting in Ferguson, but the problem has been there for decades more than that. It's a continuation of the problem that's been going on for centuries through Jim Crow laws and slavery. This is a constant struggle for Black Americans. It's always kind of been part of that, which sucks, but it also kind of looks at this broader implications. And we also get to see the institutionalization of Blacks, as we see his father in jail and how he got arrested for something he didn't do and has been in jail for that long, and how long it took for the DNA evidence to clear him. We also see the media and the officers' friends and family try to defend him, that he didn't do anything wrong, that he was just doing his job, which is kind of ridiculous. You're not even on duty as a police officer. Why do you need a gun while you're being security in a department store? This book made me really angry, especially everyone who was trying to defend the white police officer. No, if you can't be in the same room as a Black teenager without shooting him, you should not be a cop. He wasn't doing anything. You weren't even talking to him. That's ridiculous. The person who threw in the tip saying there's a teenager with a gun in the department store when there's not is also ridiculous. They're partially to blame for his death also. So that pissed me off. In a good way, a righteous anger. The book is supposed to piss you off in that way, I think. Also made me super sad and depressed and angry and grieving for the Black community, for all the the things that have been happening for so long, and that it's still happening and still this bad is ridiculous. Alfonso as a character is likable and interesting and relatable. Like, he's just a normal kid trying to survive being a teenager in high school, and especially the fact that his dad hasn't been with him the entire time he's been alive. His dad's been in jail for 15 years, and Alfonso has never seen him outside of jail. I love the small human things in this, like his class discussing issues, discussing Hamlet, discussing what's going on with the Black Lives Matter movement, and grieving his death. Like, their interactions within his class is just like amazing. I love them, the way that they're portrayed. I like the fact that they're trying to put on a hip hop version of Hamlet, and the fact that it kept getting the story of Hamlet gets woven throughout this, the seeking justice for Hamlet's father's death, and Hamlet's father coming back as a ghost, being paralleled between the struggle for everyone to fight for justice for Alfonzo Jones, and also Alfonso coming back as a ghost. I really like Hamlet, guys. It was great. I love how alive this book feels, and the stories they tell are relatable. Like, these feel like teenagers. This feels like it's New York. It feels like it's the modern day. So I love the storytelling elements. The art's pretty cool, especially being all black and white. So yay on the art. And then this book also kind of outlines how big the scope is. So this one page is... So for instance, this one page is all the names of various African Americans who have died in the US because of police brutality. So like the first name on here is Henry Dumas back in 1968, and it goes all the way through 2017. There's way too many names on this list. And then it also outlines 5 of the real life people that appeared in this book as ghosts, and what their stories and situations were and what happened to them. There's also an author's note explaining why he wrote this book, and a foreword explaining the purpose of this book, which I highly recommend. Definitely read those. I gave this book 5 stars. I don't know that's necessarily enjoyable. Like, it's not a book you read to enjoy. There were parts in this that I liked, and it's poignant. It definitely made me feel for the cause and understand it a little better, which is ultimately the point of this book, I think. So it does that really, really well. So peace out. I love you guys, and keep reading. Bye.